Rolling in deep, folks. Folks. Welcome back or welcome to Conversations. We are your host, Ben.
And I'm Ryan.
And we are back.
Yo,
we are back.
back.
I was supposed to be in Korea.
You were. I don't know if we were talking about that.
This is a little bit off our programming schedule, but everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I'm glad you're here,
I'm glad I'm here too. Also I'm glad because it's probably because it's safer for me to be here. So
yeah. What was going on over there?
Well, summertime in Korea, monsoon season is like heavy in the summertime.
Yeah.
So they get all the rain and all that. And so I was supposed to go out there this weekend, like literally I'm supposed to be there right now. And this weekend I was supposed to be judging this dance competition, but I was told literally like less than 24 hours before my flight that was supposed to happen on Tuesday this week. I was told like Sunday night at like 11-ish p.m. They're like, hey, the event is postponed because the monsoon is happening like 2 weeks before it was supposed to happen. I was like, frick, okay. But yeah, Korea's like getting super rained out. Prayers to our fam in Korea. We hope you guys stay safe and relatively dry.
That's interesting because it wasn't the like weather advisories that didn't say like flights, right? Because my sister-in-law just came back from Korea, literally landed today.
No. I mean,
maybe it's just
I don't think it's I think because the event itself was supposed to be an outdoor event, so you can't have an outdoor music festival when it's just getting monsooned on.
Yeah.
So they had to reschedule it. So they're rescheduling it to the end of August, which I don't know when this episode is going to come out because we were talking about Easter like last week.
Hey, you know what? It's okay. I watched some other podcasts and they're all mixed up.
Don't matter, man. We're trying to just, we're trying to put our episodes out there when we can. But no, I know that I'm still here for a reason, which gives us time to record some more episodes. And
and I loved it when we were like, hey, I'm here. Let's do it. And we're like, yeah, let's do it. Because I was like, man, we just started getting rolling in the new spot.
Yeah, we started to pick up a rhythm.
You know?
Yeah, we started to pick up a rhythm and momentum. And we're here in your new spot.
Yes.
I don't know if the people can
Our
tell.
New spot.
This looks different.
Yes,
more spacious.
More spacious and a little. I'd like to call it abstract.
Abstract.
There is some uneven parts.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's like Magic Eye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some parts are jumping out to me a little bit more.
It's really hard, man. It's hard, especially if the ceiling it goes at a slant, and I'm horrible at measuring. So.
No, bro, you did a good job.
Thank you. But anyways,
we're still gonna like work on getting a dude. You printed out our logo on the front door.
Yeah, I did it for fun to see how it looks.
The neon sign here eventually.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, that'll
be sick. We have some leads, but if anyone knows any neon sign people that would, and we will pay. We'll pay, no problem. Like we just want a good quality one. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's us doing shameless plugs. For we're looking for sponsors and for people to give us hookups because we need that to sustain this.
Yes, no, I mean it is a little bit vanity, but it does bring boonies, but yeah. Anyways, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
I've been. What's funny is that once you left I thought you were leaving. I was like, all right, I'm gonna brush up on my Korean. So I was watching some Korean programming on Netflix.
What were we watching?
Physical 100. I watched that. I was watching that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And that's more of just like because it's. I don't really know.
Trying to get some workout inspo.
No. I'm just trying to like. It's like it seems easy to explain about what they're doing, and I can understand and kind of relate and practice the words and stuff. But it was funny. I was like speaking to myself in Korean, like.
I do it all the time. When I watch K-drama, I literally find myself repeating every single line that the people are saying. Literally, if I was watching it with somebody else, they'd probably hit me and be like, "Yo, shut up." But I'm doing it to practice. I'm like, I don't know why I say Chagya. You just said Chagya. That's why.
Ben.
I'm just like, 단밤 이태원 클래스 박세로이입니다.
Oh.
Dude, 박세로이's the guy, dude. I love Itaewon Class. That was the one K-drama during COVID. I was like, yo, K-dramas are back, bro.
Yeah. I mean, they never left.
Well, maybe I left them because for years, because I think I went from high school watching K-dramas to a good decade of just forgetting that they existed.
You were Korean super Korean up to a point, and then you got super like non-Korean, not like on purpose, but like Filipino and like other,
I became non-Korean on accident.
on accident. Yeah, dog.
Not on purpose.
Yeah, you like assimilated with the Filipinos because that's why most of them thought you were Filipino, right? Like
Who's them? You said
the Filipinos.
The Filipinos thought I was Filipino.
Yeah,
I mean I do. Yeah, some of the
dude,
Filipino
come on.
homies
I
that
mean,
I
some
got
of these
did think that I was
some of these.
Filipino.
Some of your friends have just found out, or like recently.
Some of them still don't know I'm
Yeah,
Korean.
some of them still don't.
Yeah.
They're probably finding out, now.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
No, bro. You know what's so funny though? So speaking of like Korean, so I was, I still have Korean friends to this day. Well, okay, not close friends. Obviously, you're not very close to me if you don't know I'm Korean. But a lot of like your friends,
my friends, yeah.
a lot of your
When you
friends,
speak Korean, they're like,
yeah, it's like friend by association.
yeah.
They're like, Ben's Korean.
Yeah.
I was just like, why do I not look Korean?
I'm just gonna start saying, wait, he is? Like when they
I'm
ask
like,
me,
wait, am I?
Yeah.
Nah,
Wait,
I mean,
is he? No, I don't think so. I'll just answer like
but
that.
you know, I
Super
asked you
fun.
guys too. I'm like, what is it? And then,
The darkness.
but I also wear glasses. I don't know. Do I look Korean in these glasses? I also have other glasses because I love wearing
Actually,
glasses.
your eyes are not very Korean.
What does that even mean?
You have really like wide, sad, droopy, like sad eyes, like sad, droopy eyes.
I have sad eyes.
Yeah. No one's ever told you that before? Like your eyes droop a little bit, so you have sad eyes. Like
Is that supposed to make
it's not
me
a
feel
bad,
good?
It's not a bad thing. No, sometimes the girls like that, like that's sexy.
Oh, he
on
looks
guys.
sad.
Like
I'm
Daniel Henney or like.
I'm happy that he looks sad.
No, it's just like one of those like, oh, he's so sad. Let me
Like
make
he
him
needs.
happy.
They need to go cheer me up.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like when you're just
Also,
like,
I need help.
Yeah, exactly.
The
You do
girls,
need help, bro.
the
I'm
girls
sorry,
are
I'm
like,
telling
I
you
can,
this.
I can fix this guy.
Yeah,
He's sad. I can fix
dude,
him.
You have sad. At least you have eyes. I have.
At least
slits.
I have eye. Who?
I have
and you
slits
don't have eyes.
with little beads, like Bunsen. Like when you take off my glasses.
Now that
it's
you're
just-
like hella smiling, your eyes are like very like you have lines.
Yeah,
you have
dude.
line eyes.
like for you, because you have the inner double eyelid.
I don't have double.
Inner.
Dude, I don't have Sankapur, dude.
You have inner, though.
I have one.
Bro,
I'm
you
the
know why you have
monolith.
inner?
I'm a
'Cause
monolith.
even when you're a little tired, it goes, and your eyes are like
Here's
Ken
what I can make
Watanabe,
myself.
like-
Watch this. Watch this.
Yeah, dude, you look like Ken Watanabe, bro.
I can make myself have the double eyelids, but
perfect.
when I do that, people get freaked out. They're like, "Dude, you look psycho." But I could go.
See,
This
look.
is me regular, and this is me Sankapur.
All right, this is
Right here.
Regular,
You can do Sankapur.
regular.
You look the same. You just
Hold on,
look
hold on.
more psycho.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, you don't have Sankapur either. Oh, you have like you're trying.
Oh my god, dude, it hurts so much when I do that.
Yeah.
It's like I'm
yours
digging
looks
into-
painful.
Yeah.
Yours looks painful.
I don't have it, bro. I don't have it, which is fine. I like my eyes.
I like my eyes too.
Yeah, I like your eyes. Not to be, but I like your eyes.
I get it. I'll receive it.
It's like when they draw like there's anime eyes.
Oh, yeah,
anime
yeah,
eyes.
yeah,
You have
yeah,
anime
yeah.
eyes, like
Anime eyes.
characters. Like
Yeah.
it's like not round or like slit. It's like hexagon.
If I was an
shape.
anime character, would I have like the emo hair, like the bangs?
Nah, you'd have the
Ooh, the
spikes.
Goku? I
Yeah,
would have
not
a
this
Goku.
crazy one, but the sharp one.
That was Yamcha. Yamcha in Dragon Ball Z, he had like the tight fade.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have the quite Goku this way, but he had like a tight fade and like spikes still.
Yeah, yeah. Or
And
the
he was also
all-around
kind of
spikes.
weak though. Yamcha kind of sucked. This
Or
one
the-
had barely any
Well,
powers.
I'm just saying. I think knowing you, you'd be if you were the guy. If you were an anime character, you'd be the guy with either like cool headwear, like one with like the beanie with the hanging things on the side, or something cool like.
Who had beanie with the hanging? You're talking about like a Rastafarian anime character?
No, I'm just talking about like any character that has like head that looks Filipino.
What
and wears-
anime character look Filipino? Tell me, please.
I don't know, dude.
You guys are making stuff up now.
Yeah, no, I'm making it up. But I'm saying just the way your swag. If you were drawn as an anime character, your character would have.
You know what though? You probably
cool headwear.
Both
cool,
of y'all
like,
probably don't know this, but B from Naruto. He was like the rapper guy.
Mm-hmm.
But
There you go.
he also looked like Hulk Hogan to me. So I don't know if he looked Filipino,
Mm-hmm.
but he looked like Hulk Hogan to me. But he had like sunglasses on. He had like a bandana on.
Is there a crazy church guy or a crazy religious like Buddhist guy in any anime? I don't know enough
That's
of
a good
anime.
question. Crazy religious guy. I don't know. I don't. So now I'm like posing like I'm an anime guy. I'm not an anime. I
I'm
mean,
not either.
I watched a handful of animes that I'm a fan of, but I don't know. So I'm sure there is a very religious anime guy out there
Maybe.
somewhere, but
Or like
I
a
don't
monk
know.
or something, or like a what's the bald guy from Dragon Ball?
Oh, you talking about Krillin?
No, not the bad guy. The one with the glasses and the mustache.
Oh, Master Roshi.
Roshi.
Yeah,
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 Roshi.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He was like the master guy.
Yeah, but he kind of has a cool swag, you know.
He
Like,
did. He did. And when he gets mad, he gets hella buff.
Yeah.
He gets like hella ripped.
But I actually know a guy that we call Master Roshi, a customer of mine. That he walks in, he's Mexican, Hispanic guy. But
He's Mexican. He's not even Asian.
He's not Asian, but he's bald. But he has like that look that he could be like not. I'm sorry, he's not Mexican. I don't know if he is. He might be. I know he's Latin, but you know, like Honduras and like they kind of have like or Guam. They kind of have like an Asian look to him.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So we thought he was like half Japanese for a while because he has like
Okay.
Japanese like tattoos and stuff. But,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's about it.
Yeah,
But
well, I think there's a lot of inspiration out there that it crosses culture, and the fact that, well, okay, going back to me not being in Korea, I actually was really bummed out because I was like, man, I thought I was supposed to go, and I had I didn't have a full itinerary, but I had a good idea of what I was going to be doing out there. So I was going out there to judge a dance competition that was it was supposed to be a part of this music festival that was supposed to be like pretty big. It's called Club Z Festival.
it was a hip hop event.
It was it was K-pop. So what was supposed to headline, I don't know if I'm allowed to drop these names. If I'm not allowed, we'll just bleep them out later.
we'll
But
bleep 'em
Mamamoo.
Oh, I know Mamamoo. Mama Lou. No, Mama
No,
Lou. Yeah.
Mama Lou's
Mama-
in Monterey
yeah,
Park,
yeah.
and it's a delicious
Mama Moo,
Chinese
yeah.
restaurant.
I remember
Mama
Mama Moo.
Lou's
It's a girl
dumplings
group,
are
girl group.
amazing. Mama Moo, BB, Triple S, and something else that I forget. But there was also these like huge EDM DJs from Korea, and then myself and Matt Stefanina. We were supposed to go out there to be the international
yeah,
dance
the
judges.
dance guys,
So
yeah.
there was a K-pop concert, dance competition, DJ music festival. So it was like a lot of things happening, and there was like this like Web3 component attached to it. Anyway,
You were gonna be there for a while, right? Yeah.
I was supposed to be there for like 3 weeks, and then literally like less than 24, about 24 hours before my flight, the whole thing got postponed because of the monsoons and stuff. And as I was very like thrown off, and I was like, man, I thought I was supposed to go. I felt like God wanted me, because I also really wanted to go because I personally felt that God was like, I want to show you what's going on in Korean culture.
Do you have a church out there that you go to?
No, but I have friends that are affiliated with a few churches. One of them is Jubilee Church.
Okay.
And that's the only one that I know of. And
They're different out there. The way that they worship, the way the Christians are out there, a lot more.
No, that's what I'm saying. So I was very intrigued to see what that culture was like. And so I was looking at this as not a job opportunity, but a God opportunity. Because I'm like, the job is kind of like just the excuse for me to go out there. But the reason I was going to stay out there for that many weeks was because I wanted to see, like, what is God doing out here in Korea? And for me to even talk like this right now is really weird for me, because let's just say even 10 years ago, I became a Christian, though I was raised in a quote unquote Christian home.
Okay.
Since I was a kid. Like, I was literally born into quote unquote. So like, I was born and I was brought to church. Like, it was not like I had a choice.
You were born in the church.
I was born in the church, not actually literally, but like as soon as I was like in this world, I was also at church because my parents like brought me to church and things like that. So I kind of like jokingly these days say I was as Christian as I was Korean, meaning I didn't have a choice. I was Korean, not by choice, and I was quote unquote Christian, not by choice. It was just like, you're both. You're Korean and like you go to church. And like that for a long time really messed me up, because I never thought about I'm like, did I have a choice? like for instance, not to get political, but let's get political for a second.
All right.
You can choose to be a Democrat, Republican, or another party
Independent,
based off of what you believe, but
Yeah.
that's your choice.
Yes.
And even if your parents say, "Hey, you're a Republican because we're Republican. We've always, on Republican beliefs." But at
choose
some
to
point
be
you're just
like
like,
that. Yeah, you-
like
yeah.
yeah,
It's all
well,
choice.
I don't necessarily agree with all the things that the quote unquote Republican Party sides with.
Yeah.
Same thing for the Democratic. Same thing for whatever. So, as adults, you start to kind of make your own choices. And so for me with Christianity, it was not something that I ever thought that I had a choice, because it was just like
You do it.
Yeah, you go here on
Dice
Sundays
Jesus Cristo. Yeah.
and you pray before your meals, you pray before you sleep, you don't do the bad
You give
stuff.
offering.
You give offering, 10% at least.
You go to church Wednesday and Friday and
Damn,
then
see,
Sunday.
that's an extra, dude. I didn't even do that. I just
Oh,
was
you
like,
didn't?
Sunday was
Oh,
all I
man.
needed to do.
Really?
Yeah, see, like
Growing up, I went Wednesday and Friday and Sunday.
and Sunday. So
And
3
Sunday.
days of the week you're at church.
Our
And
church was really very big and cultish.
well, so your dad was a pastor though, so that's also different.
Yes, no. He became a pastor right when I literally my 18th year of life. When I was 18, he became a pastor. Like the March.
So was he? Just,
He was like a 장로님,
which is like an elder.
Elder.
Okay, so like, is that like, is that like deacon?
Honestly,
into elder.
Deacon. It's a deacon. Yeah, elder is a deacon. But honestly, I don't even know if my dad really wanted to be a pastor.
I think 집사님 is like deacon, and then
Elder is-
장로님 is elder.
Oh, you're
I
right.
think.
You're right. You're right.
I
Deacon.
think.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I don't know if he really wanted it to be like a pastor. He just kind of got.
Did he
pushed
go to
into it.
seminary?
Yeah, he did. Of course. Yeah, of course. No,
I don't know.
What's that?
I don't know.
Like, nah,
Like, maybe you just,
he
dude.
printed it out on the internet. And he was,
Dude, my dad was a 장로님. I've like never even
well,
seen this guy
장로님,
open
I
up
think
a
you
Bible
just-
before.
You just like status on age too. I think like Korean hierarchy too. Like you kind of certain people might have just
See,
gotten
that's what
that
I
immediate-
did not like. I was like, okay,
the
my-
mixture of both.
my understanding about church hierarchy and titles was based off of
God.
no.
Oh.
When I was young, I'm like, it's not about God. I mean, because you got to understand, I'm a kid. I don't understand God yet. God is very far removed.
Yeah.
And we're like, God's out there
is.
and like we're over here. And from what I saw was power, respect,
Yes.
and status.
Status. Yeah. For sure.
So if you're a 장로님, aka an elder, you're like, yo, bro, you're like boss status.
Yeah.
Like you're just like right below the pastor, who is like Jesus's right hand guy.
You're the one telling the 집사님s to where to put the coffee and donuts.
Yes.
You know, after
and like you give the most offering. You know what I mean? It's very like, I took it as performative. I took it as very like exterior.
Oh, 'cause
if you
for sure.
give the most offering,
Oh.
dude, my mom used to go to church every Saturday to do the floral arrangement
Mm-hmm.
for Sunday service. So like the pulpit had all this nice
Yeah.
floral arrangement. And I would have to go with her on Saturdays to do that. I'm like, why
I've
are
done it
we
before.
here?
Yeah.
This is freaking boring. None of my friends are here. It's just
Son,
it's just,
cartoons,
like
son, NBA
it's,
stuff.
I gotta just follow my mom setting up these flowers. So like, but my mom did that every Saturday before Sunday service. And at that time, when you're a kid, you don't know why. You just think that this is just what it is.
Yeah.
Your parents just do this weird stuff, and then you just got to believe that this is what I got to do too at some point. But there's no heart behind it. There's none of that.
I'd like to think there was. My mom made me for a while. She would bring me, and it's funny because I drive past it all the time, Skid Row. We would go there every other Saturday and do lunch, breakfast and lunch for like from 9 to like 1.
You mean feed the homeless community?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And my parents, my mom always did it, and she made me do it, and it was just like, yeah, I don't know. Like when I look at her now, like when I look at the way she approaches
do you remember?
homelessness,
Did they ever tell you why?
No,
Or they're just like, we have to do
we
this?
have to do it. And you know what? I think it's because it's saving face. Like it's like everyone's doing it, like all because it was a big event. Like
Oh,
you
so
know,
it wasn't
like,
just you and your mom. It was like the whole church is
whole
doing
church.
it.
Yeah,
So we got to show up. Of course, we got to
no,
show
heck
up.
no. Me and my mom.
Like
We were
how are we gonna not show up?
yeah, how are we not gonna show up? And now it's clicking. Maybe it's like you forcing me out of my bed, forcing me to do this. It's like now I think like, oh man, maybe it's because they didn't want to look bad or like.
Well, I think there's something kind of, I mean, not kind of, there's something good about it because, you know, as kids, we don't want to do anything that's uncomfortable. We want to just have fun and like play freaking games and all that. So I'm sure there's a level of like, hey, we're trying to teach you like to get out of your comfort zone, to serve and get out of your own selfish mind of what I want to do. But then there's also this, let's you know, I would imagine your parents are thinking, I want to show my children that not everybody's as privileged as they are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they grew up in this home in wherever, Porter Ranch or whatever, but then there's this whole other community that actually don't have homes. They don't know where their meals are coming from. I want to expose my children to, hey, like you are actually really, really blessed. And these people, not to say that they're not blessed, but they're just not as fortunate. They haven't been given the life that you were born into. Some people aren't born into those things.
Yeah.
So I think there's something good about that.
Sure, yeah.
But if you don't explain what it is that you're doing and why we're doing it, then
Or if you don't continue to do it.
That
right?
too, because consistency is huge.
Because like I'm confused because I thought it was a big thing. Now they're like, they get, you know, they not to say they're like, oh, to homeless people, but they're the typical Korean response, like, oh, no. Like, oh, you know, get away, kind of like, oh, like, he's scary, instead of like, but it's like, if it's a group setting, I feel like they are like, oh, you know, come
Okay,
out,
so
hi.
I
like,
want to speak to that because I'm going to be totally I'm going to put myself out there.
all right.
I still, to this day, have a natural trigger response to the homeless community because I just was never, I never spent time with the homeless community, or I'll say the unhoused, because homeless is a different term. Home, like the unhoused community. Let's just call it the unhoused.
Okay.
They don't have a house. That doesn't mean they don't have a home, but they just don't have a house to go to. And I'm not gonna blame my parents, but I will say I saw how my parents reacted to the unhoused. So I thought,
Yeah, that's how
I guess
it is.
that's how I'm supposed to also respond.
Yeah.
Like, no. Sorry, I don't have anything. And, you know, when someone comes up to the window, roll out the window. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, my parents did that. Okay, I guess
Yeah.
I'm also unsure what to do, so
Yeah.
I'll just roll out my window. And I've praised God because I've learned to. I was like, oh, I don't do it anymore, and I don't get triggered or whatever. I'm like, no, when it happens, I recognize it, and then I challenge myself, like, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
Make yourself a little bit uncomfortable for the sake of at least let that person know that you see them.
Yeah. They exist.
At least let
They're
that
human.
person, yes. Like, don't like, no, sorry, I got nothing for you. I can't help you.
Yeah.
And I have this weird thing. I don't know if it's weird, but so, you know, I get all of us, we live in LA, right? And we get a lot of the unhoused community who ask us for money.
Yeah.
Hey, can you give me some money? And I have this weird thing, and I'm not saying this is the way that everyone should be, but this is just how I am. I say, I don't have any money, but are you hungry? Do you need some food? You know, and if they say yes,
Then you know it's.
I will, no matter what I was supposed to do or whatever I was going to, I was like, hey, okay, cool. Let's go find a place. I'll get you some food. What do you want? And I'll get them whatever they want. And I've been able to, and that's opened up a lot of like really interesting conversations because I'm sure that like that's probably something that they're not used to. I'm sure they're probably more used to the no, sorry, I can't help you, and then they don't even make eye contact with them, and they move on with their life. And not to say like anything, if you've ever done that, like, all good, dude. I've done that. I probably still do that.
Yeah.
But I will say that those times that I've been able to provide a meal for somebody, I feel an opportunity to be like, hey, like, yeah, what do you want? And I give them whatever they ask for. And then I like sit with them for a second, and then I ask them their name. You know, I'm like, hey, my name is Ben, and like, you know, I live over here. You know, and then I get to like hear a little bit of their story. And I've had some like a good handful of encounters with people where I was like, wow, you just got a bad streak of luck, and you're just not as fortunate right now.
Yeah.
But this is not the end of your story. And I've had people tell me, they're like, hey, just thank you for stopping.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thank you for like,
Acknowledging me.
yeah, spending some time to talk to me. And then thank you for this food. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, you know, I was in Baltimore a couple of months ago, and I met this one man on the streets of Baltimore. No, was it Baltimore? It was Baltimore. Nope.
Okay.
Anyway,
Anyway.
one of these cities. I was out on a job.
Somewhere.
I want to say it was Baltimore, and I met this man the first night that I got there. I was able to provide him with some food, but I saw him I was there for like 3 days. I saw him every single day that I was there, because I would be walking around, and he was like, hit me up, was like, yo, my man. And I was like, oh, what up, bro? And he's like, dude, I'm just there. Can you give me a Coke? I'm like, yeah, bro. Do you want something else? Like, no, I just want a Coke right now. So I got him a Coke, you know, and then like he told me, he just like, bro, me and you, we're going to do something someday. And I said, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hit me up. I believe you. Like,
Yeah, he told me that too. No,
but as much as that kind of be like, okay, whatever, it's like, no, some people just need some time to kind of get themselves together and have someone show them that like there is still hope.
Yeah.
That the world hasn't given up on them.
No, I mean, it's you know, your approach of things is different because I've actually lived on the street. I was homeless for a little bit.
You did.
And so during that time, I would say it was about 9-10 months. A lot of the people I hung out with were like also kind of pseudo homeless or running away from home or kicked out of their house or lived in a halfway house. Or there was this one shady dude that I don't even know still to this day, but he lived in an apartment. I don't know how he paid for it. No furniture. He had just a like a lamp in the living room and a mattress and another lamp and a table, like a little end table. And it was like during that time, it was crazy because I met and hung out with some of the most interesting people. And it was like one day it was here in LA, and then another night or 2 nights later I'd be like in Venice Beach, you know, with some other random house, like doing like, you know, God knows what.
How long was that time of you not having a home?
I want to say it was almost about 10 months.
Well, okay, I have a question. When you say you were homeless, did your parents like forbid you to come home?
They kicked me out, and I was supposed to live with my brother, but I lived with them for about a month, and I was like, "Fuck this, I need to move back." So I moved back. I mean, I like hitchhiked with a buddy of mine to San Diego, and then I stayed there for a little bit. Didn't work out. Then I came back to LA, and then I lived with some friends in LA, and I just kept on messing up, and it was just something, you know, bad situation where it was just things that I was making bad decisions, and then got kicked out of that situation, and then it was kind of like going here, breaking into an apartment, not an apartment, but like into the complex, and then like sleeping on the top floor where it like leads to the roof. That's where it actually got really warm, so it was pretty chill, and nobody would go up there. So, and then like, you know, sometimes on people's couches, or sometimes I didn't sleep at all, so it was like.
So I have to further my question. Your dad, you said he went to seminary, became a pastor when you were 18?
He was, yeah, when I was 18, and then 19 I started doing drugs.
Okay.
And then he kicked me out at 19.
Why do you think that happened? Why
Oh, it was against the, like, you know, my dad, he was super Christian and super religious, but he didn't know what it was, you know, and he just read like newspaper articles about it and stuff, and then like.
So that's the stuff that I want to unpack. It's this like I will say I think Christianity amongst not even just Korean culture. I just think Christianity, once you say Christian, that's a trigger word to some people.
Yeah.
They think, oh, you are against this. You hate these people.
Yeah.
You are pro this and against that. And I understand where that comes from, but for the sake of just keeping it home, because we're both Korean Americans here, and we both grew up in the Korean American church culture. My parents never went the pastoral route, neither of them,
Lucky you.
but I did get a lot of legalism, a lot of, if you do this, you're good. If you do that, you're bad. And neither of my parents ever said, they never asked me, what do you think about this?
Wow.
Or they've never asked
feel?
how do you feel about that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you have any questions about this? Like, okay, let's talk about like basics of the gospel. Okay, Jesus Christ died for the sins of the world and he's God. Do you have any questions about that? And if they had asked me that, I probably would have been like, I don't know, maybe, but I don't even know what to ask because I'm a kid. But the thing is, I was more so, I more so felt that I have to believe this.
Yeah.
Because there's no other way. So whether I understood it or not, I just had to accept it as like, well, I guess that's the truth, whether I believe it, understand it or not.
Yeah.
So if you don't fully understand something and you just blindly accept it as truth, it doesn't really mean anything to you. It's just like this. It's like, let's say, okay, I am Korean American.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know any sort of like moralistic responsibility that I have as a Korean American. I'm just like, I don't know. I was born this way. As a Korean American, I'm not like, I need to have patriotism for Korean culture and patriotism for American culture. I don't feel that. I'm just like, I don't know. I had no choice. I was just born this way. And you might learn some stuff along the way. You might be like, yeah, I'm down to like pledge allegiance to the flag. But like, that was what I was taught in elementary school. Do I believe in it?
I feel like now we're becoming, things are, when it's exposed where we're like, what? Like it's like, okay, I don't want to get political, but just like indoctrination, they don't want others to indoctrinate our children. But that's like, we're giving an oath or a chant to the United States. Like we're like pledging our allegiance. Like that's kind of,
and what does that even
key.
mean? Like,
exactly.
I mean, am I going to give my life to this flag?
Well, and that's what, well, let me ask you this. Going back to the Korean, what was your favorite thing about church? Growing up at the Korean church.
Oh, gookbap. Every day. Free
donuts and gookbap.
Well, okay, donuts. More donuts and gookbap.
Sugar, and there was
the
sugar
glazed
and
donut,
the glaze, right?
dude.
Like,
I would always go for the glaze.
When the sugars came.
Yeah, when it was. Remember when you get there late, all they had was the non-glazed, the freaking boring one.
Yeah,
the brown, just bread. It was just bread. It was just like, yo.
Yeah. Hey,
that's
but
all
that's
that's
why
left.
I realized that they had those.
The Dunkin' and coffee.
Yes, and the older with the diabetes.
Yeah,
the diabetes.
That's still not going to help them because there's still a lot of sugar in that. But
mine
was the boring donut.
I think for me, because I went to a huge church and we'd go on Wednesday and Friday, right? Like, do you guys do ever night church?
Yeah,
okay.
We did Saturday
night. So
night
when
church.
they did the 3 Juyos?
Oh yeah.
You knew you had about 45 minutes of more play time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You're like, Juyo. You're like, oh shoot, okay, hurry up. We
hide
gotta
and
go.
seek.
Yeah, hide and seek. We gotta go.
Dude, we would play hide and seek at my church. So, because
what church would you go to? It was in the Valley?
No, dude, it was in LA. It was called Hope Church. It was off of like Crenshaw and like Wilshire, basically.
Okay.
It's now a hospital.
Yeah.
But that church building was pretty big. So it's Saturday night, like,
man, y'all playing in LA. That's dangerous.
And it was like pitch black upstairs.
Yeah.
So playing hide and seek upstairs in the pitch black, it was scary.
Like haunted,
but it was so fun.
Yeah.
It was the best hide and seek ever.
When I grew up, I went to Grace Korean Church, and they had a Excelsior High. And I think they shot Stand By Me over there, like in that movie.
Oh,
it was shot there, right?
Yeah.
And it's in Norwalk. And shout out to GKC, all my GKCers. But it was like levels because it was an auditorium, and there was this one side that just had this little tiny staircase that went up, and then they had the makeup rooms and not green room, but like a green room, like where people got ready and stuff. Like
like
it was all downstairs.
Those,
it was like haunted, with the vanity mirrors, and we would play hide and seek, and it was the most fun. But funny thing is, for a while as I was growing up, I would have my nightmares would be in that setting too, because even though we're having fun, like it's fun because there's 20 of us, but like if you're there by yourself, it's like scary as hell, you know?
Dude, I remember there was
Cheerios.
one specific Christmas Eve service.
Those went late too.
Yes, they went late. They go to like midnight, and we were still playing hide and go seek. And you know, there's always that like older kid who wants to like scare everyone else, and he's just like, "Hey, you know Santa's gonna fly through the sky tonight?"
Oh my gosh!
And this is when I was, I don't know, I was probably like 8, 9 years old. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't think Santa is real. But I'm like, maybe he is still. You know what I mean? Like I'm like right at that age where I'm like, I don't believe in Santa, but like
I'm willing to look. Like,
but I'm down to like look because he might be real still. And I remember I vividly remember even now. I was looking out the window and I saw something. I don't know what it was, bro. It was probably a freaking helicopter. But he's like, there he is, that's Santa. Yeah. I was like, oh shoot, that's Santa.
Why does he have a spotlight?
It's like, why is it like
yeah.
But no, I remember I was just like, damn, Santa's real. I say all that to say all this like, as we're young and kids, we're so impressionable to the point where we'll believe, well, for sure, what our parents tell us, and also what we see from the culture of the environment, like the church environment. Because I saw a lot of like, a lot of very Christian-y things happening on site at church. And then offsite is just like, what?
Yeah.
It's just different, a lot of like hypocrisy or whatever. And I think that's the thing that a lot of our generation, I'll just say millennials, right? Like we're all millennials in this room. A lot of people who are like sort of turned off to Christianity was because they're so burned and or jaded by their childhood. And they're like, Christianity is that. And it's fake. There's a lot of hypocrisy. And I'm still like sort of shedding those scales and unlearning and deconstructing a lot of that stuff. And I don't know, no shade or anything to Asian dominant churches or Korean American churches, whatever. I mean,
we're talking about from the 90s.
Yeah,
it's different times.
To each their own. But there's also something like I do not want to go to like a Asian dominant, Korean dominant church.
I'm opposite.
Just because I'm just like I don't like that. So I go to like a very multi-ethnic, very diverse church.
Yeah. You go to such a big church that one time I went and I was sitting and there was a speaker. It wasn't even a screen or like a television. It was just a speaker speaking to us. We were that far back because it was such a popular service that day that we went, and we went late.
Where did you go?
At the school.
You went to Reality?
Yeah, this was a long time ago. I went with Vero.
Okay.
And we went and we were there like a little bit late. Actually, we went and we saw you that day, but we got sat back in the outside, and there was no TV. It was just like a little tiny speaker that was like this big that was talking to us.
You guys were sat outside of the service?
Yeah, that's how it was a popular service. But you know what's funny is when you say that, I actually have opposite. When I look at a church, if it's not, because I had such a great experience at church. Like it was such a big church, but we were really close knit, and they did a lot of like summer camp, VBS, spring camp, winter camp. They had all these camps. And then we had the Wednesday night service, Friday night service. Sometimes they did a Thursday night service, and then there was like certain special Saturday night stuff. So basically,
you only had like Tuesday to breathe from church. Well, like the only thing that I get,
I would go Wednesday. I would go Wednesday when I was younger, and as I got older, I stopped. And then Friday, as I got older, I stopped. But during my youth, it was big. So now when I go to a church, if I don't get that same experience, I automatically like, that's whack. I do.
Well, okay. You said that same. What's this? What experience are you talking
about? I don't know. It's exactly like I don't know. It's something that a combination of like, most of the churches I go to are predominantly Korean or Asian, so that checks the box, right? But
so you like going to the Asian churches?
I do.
Why?
Because it
feels familiar.
It feels familiar, and honestly, if I can be completely honest, all the Americanized churches are way too production-y, way too like 20 people on stage, and and then there's one person that does a solo, and it's just so much production that I'm just like.
I don't know if you've ever been to Reality LA.
I know it's like that.
It's not like that. It's
Oh no,
not.
you're right. It's very simple.
Dude. It's
no,
very
that's the
stripped.
one.
All the production is stripped
That's
away.
the one thing I liked about reality was
Yeah,
that
it's
the
not.
service was
It's not a
great,
concert, bro.
but I remember the sermon was really long, and I was like, oh.
And these days, post COVID,
It's even longer.
no, it's
Oh.
shorter. It's like
Oh,
30
yeah,
minutes.
you know?
You got like a 30-minute sermon.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like some of the Hollywood churches I've been to.
I
Like,
mean, we are a Hollywood church, though.
but
We
I
are
mean,
in
like,
Hollywood.
what's a Mosaic? You know,
Mosaic,
that one's
yeah,
big.
sure.
That one was so like, man, when I was there, I was like I didn't know any of the songs, number one, and then like it was just too much production. You know, all the lights going like this. I thought it was, you know,
So it's distracting a little
it
bit.
was distracting,
Yeah.
and I almost like look at everyone, and I'm like, and I hate myself for this, but I'm like judgy. I'm like, are you really up there for the real right reasons? Or are you just trying to, like, because you didn't make it as a singer, and now this is your way to be a
Hey, bro,
performer,
that's legit.
to
You
be
know,
a
so
to be a star, you know, like
When I hear people
because
who
they are
have
low key
that,
stars, you know.
Dude, triggers are triggers, man. And I don't blame anybody. Like, well, why does that trigger you? It's like, yo, dude, if that triggers you, it triggers you. If that makes you feel uncomfortable, it makes you feel uncomfortable. Like, no one should feel weird or guilty about something that makes them feel uncomfortable. There's a
Yeah.
reason why.
But it could be
you feel
me
uncomfortable.
being like just triggered, but like the devil is triggering me when
Well,
that actually
yeah, sure.
person's really being faithful and loving and like doing for the
100%.
right reasons. You know?
And like I will say, there are probably also people in that congregation or in that space that like whatever is happening they resonate with. Because what if they're just like a singer, they're an artist, or they're just like, yeah, this is like I feel comfortable in a place where we could just express ourselves. We don't need to, hide anything.
Yeah.
Whereas if someone, like, let's just call it conservative, right? Like, oh, you come from a much more conservative background, so that kind of stuff makes you feel like, oh, it's too showy, it's too performative.
Yeah.
And that triggers you in a type where like, yeah, I don't think this is for me. I think both are okay.
Sure.
Because everyone's experiences are different.
No, for sure.
If you're in an artist culture where like, yeah, this is like, I get
This
this.
is it. I like it.
love
So,
because
yeah.
I would do that too.
Yeah.
Versus like, I'm not used to this. This makes me feel weird. This makes me feel like this is not, like, I don't feel comfortable. And then both are okay. And that's how, in my opinion, God is so vast and so diverse in the way that he is, because he's the ultimate creator. He created both the conservative and the most artistic, like extroverted type of personality. He created both.
Yeah.
And he's saying, I can speak to all y'all. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, if you feel uncomfortable here and you feel more comfortable there, do it.
Yeah, maybe it's maybe when you bring it up the conservative style, right? When I was raised, like I was raised like, oh, don't, if you like if Koreans like are making good money and they're driving in a Mercedes, they're almost ashamed to drive their Mercedes to church because they're ashamed to show off because
They don't wanna floss.
They don't want to floss,
Yeah.
right? And so. But like American churches, like the pastor has like the Off-White Dunk Air Jordan ones.
I got
and
my thoughts about that too, though.
My question is this: are they getting the hookup because I understand the hookup, a pastor hookup. My dad gets the hookups.
Sure.
But he's not getting like are they getting like the the first run, the ones that are only like retail price like $180 and then they have a hookup and they're getting it that, or they're paying for because they have someone that can get it for $500 or something.
Sure.
To me,
And
it makes me a little uncomfortable. Like, just like
I love that you bring this up.
evangelism. Like, who's that guy in Texas? The big dude, the little curly hair.
Joel
Osteen.
Yeah, Joel
That guy
Osteen,
has
yeah.
like 4 planes or like 5 planes and like 2 men.
Yeah. Hey, you know what?
The culture is crazy.
I don't
man.
judge the guy.
American.
Do I rock with him personally? No. I don't rock with Joel Osteen like that.
Yeah.
But so I will say this. Is he completely false and no one can benefit off of him? I won't say that either. Maybe he speaks to the person or a demographic of a person that resonates with him. And I don't think that just because one person affected you or resonated with you, that's the one person who's gonna stay with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we all know, bro. Like, we've had people who have come into our paths at one point, and like, wow, I needed you in that season. Now that I've gotten whatever I've gotten, I think I'm ready for the next season. So maybe Joel Osteen's like,
Just yeah.
whoever resonates with him in that moment, and they are like, hey, I'm curious about this God figure. And maybe I got that through Joel Osteen because he's talking about love, he's talking about purpose.
I mean, he's doing it. He's saying the right stuff, and he's spreading the right message, but his actions don't show what he's preaching.
Yeah, whatever,
I don't know. Maybe he's the fruit of the from God. Like all his blessings are that, because he's so good. Maybe
I just think this. There is not one brand of Christian, meaning not every single person in their individually colored lifestyles is going to resonate with every Christian perspective.
Yeah.
Like there's like the Billy Grahams of the world. There are, currently there's this dude, Tim Ross, that I love, that I don't fully agree with everything that he says, but I still rock with the guy because the majority of what he says is legit. And then you got like really ultra like conservative Calvinistic guys like John MacArthur who are still there, and then you got my pastor Jeremy Treat, and then Judah Smith, who's like Justin Bieber's pastor from Home Church.
Yeah.
Like there's all kinds of people, and there's this, and that's not this. I mean, yeah, you got to be very like careful and discerning. Not every single person who claims to be a pastor and follows Jesus is legit, because that's also very true.
Yeah.
Not everybody who claims Jesus is legit, but if you are able to discern, like, is this actually coming from the Bible? And some people will interpret things much more liberally or much more conservatively, and every little nuance in between. My thing is this: don't limit God to be like, God only speaks in this way and that's it, because that's not true.
That's Korean way to think.
That's the very Korean way.
No, God only thinks of this way.
God does not want you to dance.
No,
because
only dance for God.
Only body worship.
My dad's like always like, why don't you teach the dance of hip hop to the kids for God?
Because I don't want to.
Kids are whack, dog.
They're not dope right now. Like, yeah. But like I'm saying that there's not this only one way, but there is a way. It's not like, okay, let me differentiate. There is a way. A way is not any way. Any means whatever you want.
A way? Oh yeah.
Any way means whatever you want to do is fine. That's not also true. But there is a way. A could mean like you can go this, but it still ends up going to the same path.
Like an A.
Sure, yeah, we're making the letter A. The way means there's only one. Like if you have to, if there's only like I have to do it this way. If I deviate from this, if I do it slightly different, that's the law. That's
the Mandalorian way.
That's the stuff that even the Bible says. There is no the way.
Yeah.
Like the way is perfection. Can anyone do perfection? No, only Jesus can, and only Jesus did. So Jesus came to say, yes, there is only one way. That's perfection. Who can do perfection? Jesus said, nobody can. That's why I'm here. I'm going to do it the perfect way so that when I do it and I die for everyone else, by grace, everyone receives what I did. So none of y'all can do the perfect way. Only I did it. I did it my Father's way, but I have grace for y'all. So there's this like sort of an umbrella. And under that, like cultural stuff falls under that grace umbrella. Like as Koreans, we're like, yo, I thought I had to give like hongum in this way. I thought I had to like do
$1.
the bomb is gookbap, and like, I had to
donuts.
Like go to 새벽기도 every single whatever.
I did 5 trios.
5 trios, but you were supposed to do 7. You fell short, dude.
Oh man,
you're too short of. But like,
is it really 7?
I don't know, dude. I'm just making 9? Stuff up. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's all these dogmas that we thought made it so that Christianity was satisfied, but like, there's so much nuance there. And I know, because the Bible says this, grace covers all those things that we fall short in. And I am curious, though, because you are a PK.
Yeah. Only in name?
Well,
by name?
Yeah. Well, PK, for those who don't know, pastor's kid.
Pastor's kid. And by the way, this is the Christian podcast. We got y'all.
Hey, welcome
Welcome.
to
Conversations with
Conversations
God. With God.
with God. Everything is a conversation with God for me.
Well, yeah.
But the fact that, I mean, I'm not trying to put you out.
No, put me out.
But
Put me on the.
I mean, like, what's up? Like, where are you with your current, faith journey? To my understanding, you're not at church every Sunday,
No,
which is fine.
no. Faith is strong. I'm very faithful. I still believe that God has His hand in all this stuff, everything in my life. And what's crazy is that I sometimes Vero and I get in a fight because she's like, you live too blindly by faith, where like she's a little bit more analytical and more worries about stuff. But I'm not in practice. I'm not good in practice right now. I mean, like. Even like me and Vero,
Can
we
I
always
pause you real quick?
Yeah.
When you say you're not strong in practice,
Yeah.
what does practice mean?
Practice meaning in. Yeah, that sounds funny when I say in practice, but
Because practice sounds like you got to do something.
what? Yes,
you gotta do
I'm just saying in
you got to do the works.
the phrase, that
you got to
phrase,
do the
yeah,
actions.
yes, like going to church, doing my tithing.
Sure.
Tithing.
You don't say tithing. That sounds weird.
Tithing, no, tithing. Sorry. Tithing, even just praying. Like sometimes I'll do the bite and I'm like, oh, and I have the food in my mouth. And I'm like, and I'll pray. Like,
Hey, let me. Okay, you know what? Keep going.
yeah.
I want you to
that.
finish what you're saying.
Yeah, in practice, just like there. It's when something happens, I don't ask God for guidance. I always ask God to help me fix whatever I've messed up already. I don't ask Him before, preemptively. I ask Him after to help me fix the problem. So, yeah. Not to get too deep, but yeah, that's how I.
Man,
that's where I am in Christianity.
One I will say, I appreciate the vulnerability and honesty of what you feel like your current place or status of your Christian, or I'll just say your faith.
Yeah.
Bro, I used to and still struggle with that. I need to do better. I should be doing better. These days, I'm not doing as good. And I ask myself, like, what do I even mean by that? Like, so what does that mean? Did you like go to church extra this month? Did you tithe more? Did you read the Bible more this many times?
More quiet times?
Yeah. Did you pray longer length of time? Did you go feed the unhoused community more this? So when I say that, like, I'm doing not as good this week, I ask myself, what do I mean by that? Did I sin more this week? Okay, let's talk about that even. Like, what does that mean? Did I sin more? And then also, like, what do I even categorize as sin? You know what I'm saying? Like, do I categorize like, oh, I cussed somebody out and I beat somebody up as sin? But like, let's just say I just was like a little selfish this week.
Or evil thought or bad thoughts.
Just like, yeah, I was annoyed at somebody on the freeway this week.
That's sin? I mean, is that sin? Is that sin?
Of course it is.
Sucks. Then I
It's
sin a lot.
And I will say, if you murdered somebody this week, which I hope you didn't.
Not this week.
Because you probably should not be on this podcast, and you got
or this is my
be
alibi.
on the run.
This is my
alibi. Hopefully you didn't murder somebody
this is
week.
Wednesday. No.
But I will say this is, in God's eyes, whether you were lazy, whether you were a little bit selfish, whether you told a white lie, or whether you murdered somebody, all that in His eyes is the same.
Yeah.
So of course, when you're like, well, murder is way worse than
sin.
Been annoyed with somebody on the freeway. Of course, there's degrees of it, but like in God's eyes, it's the same. Meaning the standard of perfection is the same. So the whole thing about needing God, needing Jesus, is like, Lord, I cannot ever hit the mark on my own ever. Sure, I might not murder somebody, but I cannot be like, I'm going to always just be positive. You know what I mean? And so what I've been learning...
Take the high road, right? Always take the high road.
But it's not even against somebody either. Because
or just the high road of life, or like the...
I'll be honest with you. Yesterday was a weird day for me. Yesterday, I could not... It took me a long time to get out of bed.
Then that's not normal for you. You're
not.
you know,
I'm like, yeah, I got to get to it. I got to get stuff done. But like yesterday, I was like,
you're
I'm
not a
just tired.
snoozer.
And I'm like, oh, do I have a schedule today? I was like, oh, I don't have any meetings. Yeah, I guess I can just kind of.
But sometimes you need those days, bro.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I think maybe that's what it is. You're just doing this so much.
But you know what it is too? It's giving grace to yourself
Yes.
because God has He has infinite grace for you. Even if you just completely messed up, you did everything wrong one day. Like, not even say one day. Let's just say you just did for a string of days, and it's like, man, I must have fallen out of God's grace because look how much I was lazy. Look how negative I was. Look how selfish I was. Look how much freaking Jack in the Box I ate this week. But
is that a bad
hey,
Shoot,
I don't know. It might be a personal conviction. But I'm
so
saying
much.
we all have our own interpretations of what we think is good and what we think is not good. But God says if you miss the mark of perfection, all of it's not good. So because of that, all of that covered by the grace of God, that's the stuff that I've been learning to not even reteach, but just maybe even learn for the first time. That like I don't need to perform for God.
Which we grew up.
We
had to be on.
You got to be on.
Yeah, be on.
Don't ever fall off.
Yeah.
Don't ever.
You gotta put your hands up when everyone's putting. Like when they're doing this.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the standard.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
You don't. Your hands. Were
Oh,
this,
you're not receiving.
His hands were this high. Your hands were this. Oh, he's was
horrible.
holier than you right now.
Yeah.
His hands are way higher.
He's in heaven first. He's got the VIP line.
And as ridiculous as that sounds, but in our minds, we sort of like keep that kind of score.
We do.
When God doesn't.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff that I've been like learning.
Korean God does though. Korean Jesus.
Korean Jesus on 21 Jump Street.
Korean Jesus does keep score. Sorry, he's Korean first.
To be clear, there's no such thing as Korean Jesus.
Yes.
That was made up on 21 Jump Street by Ice Cube.
They know.
Nah, I got to be clear. we might get clipped for certain things here. So, but no. But in all seriousness, though, like, this conversation I think is funny because both of us are products of the Korean church experience, and you being a PK, a pastor's kid, and that probably having more pressure on you because like my dad wasn't a pastor, you know what I mean? He was like an elder, but even I'm like, what does that even mean, dude? You like kind of sucked as a father. So to me, an elder just means like you just paid more offering and you like earned that, like you bought the title.
Oh no,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And then you like walked around flashing your Rolex and driving your Mercedes. And then, is that what elder means?
No,
you just got like freaking VIP at the club, like
yeah, VIP at Jesus Club, dude.
He got the VIP at he got the Jesus Club, the presidential
the Jesus
suite.
Show.
And to me, that's what I thought it was. Like you just do the more thing. And then you get the more respect.
It's
all performative. And like, that's not. But like from now, what I understand, like as a person who chooses to follow Jesus, and I read the Bible and I understand, and I'm still learning every day, like what it means to truly have faith and truly live by grace. That's the stuff I'm like, oh, it's not performative. I don't have to earn anything because if I tried to, I would actually fail. If I tried to earn it, I'm done already because I suck. But if I don't have to earn anything and Jesus did it all, I'm like, oh, all right, well, let me just live by love. Let me live by like a choice to obey. Like, for instance, like you don't like obey the laws because, I mean, well, some people do. But let's just say this.
You don't obey the laws or you don't.
But let's say this. In true love, if you really love somebody, you don't do things out of fear. You do things out of like, I want to do this for that person because I know that person's going to appreciate and love this.
I don't know. When you get married, you do a lot of things out of fear. You're just like, oh, my wife's going to get mad if I don't do this.
Well,
you don't understand.
No, I get it. I get it. But it's fear of disappointment.
Fear of disappointment.
You don't want to
exactly.
disappoint your wife.
No.
You're not afraid that your wife's going to beat you up. Well, maybe some people do. But hopefully,
sometimes I get scared.
Vero got hands.
She don't got hands. I mean, she got
hands.
But
it's more out of fear of like, man, I don't want to hurt this person because I love them. like the fear of like even in marriage. Let's talk about marriage because this is our relationship with Jesus
It's a
in a
marriage,
weird
yeah.
way. It's a marriage. It's not even weird. That's just what the Bible says. Like the church is the bride of Christ. Like we are married to Jesus. And if you truly love Jesus, it's not like, oh man, I don't want to go to hell, so I probably shouldn't do this. It's like, man, I don't want to disappoint the one who laid down his life for me.
Yeah.
You don't want to disappoint that person because you love that person so much. And so I think the true depiction of even marriage and sacrifice and not wanting to disappoint is like, yo, I love this person so much. Like, I don't want to hurt them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like
In theory, yeah, that's not.
in theory,
In theory.
yes, they'll just put up.
But then there's
yeah.
like resentment. There's all these things, and sometimes you're like in not competition, but no, not me and Vera. We don't compete actually. Well, with games we compete, but there are times when there's like real life stuff, we actually team up and we're like we kill it. But like yeah, it gets weird. Like it's there's definitely different stages you go through, especially me and Vera because we don't have kids. So I feel like a lot of parents or parents that have kids or like the couples that have kids, they're so focused on their kids that they don't really focus on themselves anymore. So we have all the time in the world to focus on each other and try to make each other better and tell each other where they're lacking and this and that. And yeah, it goes in like stages and like different kinds of levels of like fighting and getting along. And like right now, me and Vera are in a good place,
I can sense it.
Yeah,
sense
we're
it
in a
today.
good place because, I'm learning a lot to
Yeah.
how to, navigate with her, and she's learning like how to navigate with me. But definitely, I feel like, and this is for the guys, it's you guys. The guys have to do it. The guys are the ones that have to change a little bit more. And like,
Hey, you know what? As a guy, I will receive that because
Yeah.
you know what? Like we gotta take responsibility.
I'm still learning. You
We're
gotta be the
always gonna
man
learn,
up, man up of that.
And but there's grace in that learning stage. There's grace in figuring it out, and the good ones, aka our female counterparts,
Yeah.
will have grace
But
for
the
us.
good ones?
The good ones.
Oh, compared to
The
us?
bad ones. No,
Are we the bad
I'm
ones?
talking about the female counterparts.
Oh, just in
Because
general.
there are some bad female counterparts
yeah.
who won't have grace and who will not understand. And I would
You're right.
encourage
You're
y'all, get some help.
Yeah.
And help is available.
Yes.
As there is help available
Yeah.
to us guys who also suck. So I'm saying therapy is a good thing. And get some good therapy because I am a
Therapy is definitely good, yeah.
very...
Hopefully we can get better help or something to sponsor us.
Yes, better help if y'all listening.
Please, no.
I have been a subscriber for like 8 months now.
Should we send
so it
them
works.
clips or something? Like,
But
does anyone know anybody from BetterHelp?
My therapist is sick. I might just ping
Hey,
him.
you might,
I'm like,
yeah.
hey, bro, we got this podcast. What's up? You want to sponsor?
Let's
sponsor
not
this
even.
person?
Just be like, hey, we'll have like a code for a specific code.
Hey, we'll talk about that offline.
Hey,
now we're all talking. Now we're getting into
businessman.
like a marketing
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah.
right
we
now.
don't want to expose the.
Yeah, we
background
We're
stuff.
we're very green here.
We
still.
trying to grow, guys.
We're trying, but we're doing. We're trying and we're doing. Shout out to Zero Water. All you get
Zero,
is this.
yes.
Because we ain't
Yes.
got no money from y'all yet. Guys, thank you for joining us
Thank you.
on this very kind of, this was like a,
Deep. This
sensitive,
is really deep. I like it.
probably one of the most controversial because I'm sure this is triggering to, I feel like both of us are triggered in this
Yes.
this conversation. But I mean, this is what we're trying to do, man. Like, we're not trying to shy away from triggering
Topics and conversations.
because we are trying to unpack a lot of these things that we as Asian Americans, and then just, I guess, in this room, Asian American males,
It resonates.
even more specifically Korean, Asian American, and we have this culture that we were brought up in, like the church culture.
And we don't talk about it. There's nowhere to talk about it. And I wish there was more people because I know there's Korean guys that Korean males and females that watch the show that have given me feedback about yeah, I've gone through that, but put some stuff in the comments so we can respond because it gives us because I know you're out there, and it helps us to it gives us encouragement to talk about more stuff that we went through and like the deeper Korean stuff that we wouldn't think about talking about normally, but
And it's going to be uncomfortable, and we're going to say some stuff that y'all might disagree with.
Yeah.
And please don't cancel us. If you do, please consider
Like and
restoring
subscribe
us.
first, and
Please
then
consider restoring us after you subscribe and you listen to some more episodes, and we know and
share
you,
us and then cancel,
yeah,
please.
you know that we're not actually bad guys. We're just trying to figure stuff out. And that's it.
기도합시다.
기도합시다. 주시 없어서.
What's the Benedict? No,
주여.
the benediction. There's a Korean
I don't
benediction
know,
that
dude.
they
It's
always
like
say.
I just know 주시 없어서, dude. That's what they say. 주시 없어서.
주시 없어서.
So Conversations pod.
Yes.
예수 이름으로 기도합니다.
Oh my God, that's
Damn,
so
I
bad.
just fumbled
That's
that.
so.
I fumbled that so hard.
Is this sacrilegious for us to say
No,
it?
bro.
Okay.
Nah, dude, because I believe in Jesus and He's got grace on me, so
Amen.
we're good. All right, go.
Love you guys.